Hi everyone and welcome to FilmDirt. I thought I'd review a very good Clint Eastwood movie, In the Line of Fire. I just saw it recently, once again. It's been a very long time since I've seen it last. It's really good, and I just realised it's quite amazingly the first Clint Eastwood movie I've ever reviewed on any channel. I find it hard to believe. I don't think I've reviewed him before. But he's one of my favourite actors, so there's no reason behind it. It's just something I've realised. But anyway, let's talk about this great movie. I think it came out in '93, so it's a period where Clint Eastwood is slightly older. I think he's in his early 60s at this point, which is fitting because he's playing a older Secret Service agent. Now, I've read some trivia, and he's supposed to be kind of playing the senior agent that was in the motorcade when JFK was shot, Clint Hill. So he's playing that type of character, and during the film they've done a very good job of incorporating Clint's image in some old black and white photos of that tragedy. And for the most part, a lot of the visual effects are pretty seamless. There's a few scenes where you can tell that they've pasted in the president in this movie, who I believe is unnamed. We don't get a name. I think he's just called the Traveller. That's his code name throughout the film, which is interesting. That's an interesting move. And we also get images of Clint in the old footage as well. And the trivia does say that it's footage of previous presidents' duties. So they've done well using the footage of big crowd scenes that would be very difficult to arrange for a movie, and probably a bit on a budget as well, this movie, but that's fine. They've done it anyway, and the results look good. As for the main story, it's a typical Clint Eastwood movie where he's playing a tough guy. It's very similar to the Dirty Harry movies. It could have been another sequel. You've got a lot of parallels here between the two characters and the two stories. He's got a very creepy villain in John Malkovich, and he's entertaining a lady friend along with that, and he's slightly older and he's always carrying a gun around. It could definitely be another Dirty Harry. It's got all the hallmarks that we've all loved from those previous movies. I don't know why they didn't make it a sequel to that, but I think Clint probably thought he wanted to do something different, but this isn't that different. I don't think he produced this movie, so it's not under his banner. So he probably took it on because he thought it's an interesting story and it's different enough, even though I find it very similar. But Clint here, he still looks good. He's obviously older and it fits the story. And you still think, when you look at Clint, he could still beat you in a fight. You know, he always looks hard, doesn't he? And looks like he can take care of himself. So I think he fits this film perfectly. I don't think he's too old for it, even though I think they've shaved 10, possibly more than 10 years off his age just to fit in with his employment as a Secret Service agent. And they've incorporated his age very well. You know, when he's running alongside the motorcade, he's always out of breath and he's always sweating. But one thing he's not is that he's not weak. You know, he still can take care of himself. He's still a tough guy. And for Clint Eastwood fans like myself, that's what we're looking for in a typical Clint Eastwood movie. You know, he's sorting out the bad guys where, you know, the bad guy, he's gonna get it at the end. You know that for sure. Clint Eastwood's never going to lose, is he? And that's why we come to watch his movies. So I've got to mention John Malkovich for a bit. Very creepy, very good performance from John Malkovich. A lot of his movies, he does come across as a little bit of a creepy villain. I know he's mastered that character and he does it very well. And we also established that he's a former agent himself. I don't think it's for the Secret Service. I think it's the CIA. So he's aware of all the techniques and all the secrecy and how to get through into places where he's within distance of the president. And he's made a plastic gun. Quite an interesting scene, and we've established that the gun is very powerful, and it's made of plastic so you can get it through metal detection. And it's almost like that James Bond film with Christopher Lee as Scaramanga when he's just very slowly building his gun in front of the guy and then shoots him. You know, it's all undetected, and there's a good scene here at the end where it's very similar to that. He's in a big crowded event with the president in the same room, and he's building the gun under the table. Yeah, there's a lot of tension in that final scene. Really good stuff here. Overall, a good hero in Clint Eastwood and a good villain in John Malkovich. And all the supporting cast are good as well. We've got Rene Russo, who's playing a kind of love interest, although we don't really get that far. It just looks like a working romance. And that's fine because it's not really taking over the story like in some movies. And we're not here really to see a romance, are we? We're here to see Clint Eastwood do his thing. And throughout the film, he's piecing all the clues together and all the phone tapping stuff. Very tense, very almost gripping part of the story. Yeah, it's really good. I think this is a very underrated film. It should be a lot more popular than it is. So I've got to just mention as well the theme by Ennio Morricone. It's almost a reunion, isn't it, of these two guys, Clint and Ennio, from the days making the spaghetti westerns. And this is a much more backseat theme. It doesn't envelope the movie just like the old westerns did, and I like that. It's just there, and it's not taking over anything. Now, I did find the callbacks to the Jfk shooting very interesting. It's a subject that has interested me in the past, and while I was working in the USA, I did visit the Jfk tour. Anyone that's done that tour and has an interest in the subject will find this movie definitely interesting. So what score should we give this movie? I do recommend it. It's definitely worth a watch, especially if you're a Clint Eastwood fan. Let's give it a 4 stars. This is good stuff here. And, you know, when I see old movies from people that I admire, it's almost a shame that they can't do this anymore. Clint Eastwood now is very advanced in age, and at least we've got this superb body of work to look back on his career with, and we're still enjoying his movies, aren't we? I hope he continues to direct, and looking forward to seeing some more great movies from Clint. So thanks very much, guys, for joining me. And just to leave you with a little bit about myself, as I always say in previous videos, I am completely unbiased in my reviews, and all new reviews I go to, I haven't received a free ticket to see them. All my reviews are completely honest and genuine. Thanks again. It was good speaking to you, and take care. All the best.